This place is absolutely stacked full of fish of this calibre. Good morning and welcome to another Northern Carp Diaries video. It wouldn't be a proper Northern Carp Diaries sort of YouTube channel, would it, if we didn't come to a proper northern venue. It's that northern that we've actually come even north of where we live. So it's probably the most north that we've ever fished. So that keep waffling on about the north. If you haven't obviously already guessed by the video title, we're at the incredible Clearwater Fisheries. What I'll probably do is I'll talk about the actual fishery itself, the facilities, the lake and everything that we're fishing. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. But first I just want to say as well, a massive thank you, and I hope you all enjoyed if you watched both part 1 and part 2 of our epic road trip. Funnily enough, I've only actually been back in the country for about 10 days, and obviously I'm back on the bank again. So obviously by the time I'm filming this, I've not even edited the other 2, but obviously by the time you're watching this, they'll both be live. So I just want to say I hope you really enjoyed it. And obviously, as ever, if you wouldn't mind just pressing the like button, subscribe, and more importantly, pressing the bell icon, so when videos like this go live, you get a notification via your email. So yeah, what I'm probably going to do now is going to get some bait in, I'll get some spots found, and then we'll have a proper catch up later on. So joining us this session on Kellet Lake, which is one of the 2 day ticket waters on this complex. There's actually a larger, bigger lake as well, which is known as Kia, which is actually a syndicate lake. So obviously we can't fish that one because we haven't got a ticket there. But like I said, for this particular session we're on Kellet, which I believe is not a runs water, but it's probably one of the easier waters on the complex. Upon first inspection when we arrived, the venue, or this particular water itself, was incredibly weedy. I mean, like the name suggests, Clearwater is a complex. All of the sort of lakes here, the water's gin clear. It's a couple of feet in terms of clarity. So as you would expect in the sort of height of summer, which we are currently, the weed's really sort of in its prime. So basically what I've done is I decided to walk round to the far bank, because the bailiffs kindly put us onto a few spots where on this far margin, because Kellet Lake that we're on now is quite elongated, a lot of the fishing, I guess, is probably to the far margin from all the swims, because all the swims are on one bank barring the sort of the bay to the sort of bottom end of the lake, if you like. But I'm in Peg 5, and Simon from Aqua as well, who's joining me on this session, who you might be familiar with from Old Mill. So he's joining me and he's in Peg 4. So like I said, we're having a bit of a social as well. We're doing some filming, some products and things for Aqua, so yeah, it should be a good weekend, to be honest. So yeah, tying it onto here, what I've done is I've come round now because obviously I've seen a few rat runs, and like I said, the bailiff put us onto these spots, if I'm being perfectly honest, where on the far margin there's a few sort of, like I said, rat runs where basically the bailiff comes down and he obviously feeds the fish there. And like I said, what I've done now is I've just come into this sort of, well, one of a few spots that I've just found, and basically, yeah, we've got all sorts of animals on here. And basically in these rat runs you can actually see where it's actually glowing with gravel. So obviously I came around before, put a little bit of bait in onto one spot. I obviously saw the fish come straight in and sort of got the tails down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of these spots, probably get back round there, get the rods out, and hopefully we can try and nick one before tonight. So if you can see, guys, just in front of me here, this is one of the openings, and I've just been putting a little bit of bait in. Basically what's happened is there's 3 fish. Don't know if you'll be able to see them very well, but there's 3 fish that keep coming in here. Well, I think I can see some now coming back. Yeah, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to trickle some bait in here, and then hopefully we'll get a rod on this and see if we can manage to catch one. We'll have to spook to fish there. Recording?
Yep.
Sweet.
What's like the moral of your fish?
Right there?
Yep.
So as you've just seen, I've just been round on the other bank. I've managed to find 3 lovely clear spots in and amongst the weed. And like I said, on these weedy venues, this just pays that to put a bait in the right area, you'll certainly catch them, because after seeing them gravel spots, I've put some bait in. And I'm not kidding when I say the rod's been in the water for probably about 15 minutes, maybe 20 at a push. And although she won't win any prizes for being the biggest in the pond, it certainly means that the pressure's off a little bit, because like I said, when you come filming, it's just nice to catch one for the cameras. So given that she's obviously a baby, what we'll do is we'll get a few still pictures, and then we will get her back, and then I'll show you in a bit more detail the rigs and the spots that I'm fishing. Mega. Right, well, I apologise profusely for the lack of updates yesterday, I may add. Basically yesterday, after catching that fish, obviously I came back round, I got my rods out, and then pretty much we just had a whole day of media day for Aqua. So yeah, basically we just had a mammoth day where we were filming new products, filming some existing products as well, sort of doing all the sort of work, if you like. So yeah, unfortunately we didn't really do an update. So she went into last night, and basically yeah, last night was absolute carnage. I think, yeah, off memory now, I'm trying to wrap my brains to be fair as to what happened last night. I think I kicked things off sort of early in the evening with a real nice sort of scaly fish.
I don't know what your frame rate's at or anything here.
Well, you've been playing with it, yeah, mate. It hasn't yet.
When I get my ISO in and everything, yeah, mate.
Had some really nice small dithered fins as well. It was a real nice sort of, almost like a fully scaled, to be fair. Nothing massive, I'd probably say around 13, 14 pounds to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, it was a mega fish to be fair. And then Simon obviously carried on, and I think he had 3 last night. Then he went and had a 25 pound absolute mega fish, and then yeah, you know what's coming, because every time I seem to fish with Simon, it's just a repeat. So Simon, as usual, cast out a solid bag, and he's caught one of the A-team in this lake, which went 33 pounds. So yeah, I don't know the name of it or anything like that. You know, I'm not really too sort of familiar with this particular pond, but yeah, he's absolutely smashed it as ever. He just seems to have a knack for pulling out all the big fish, doesn't he? And every single time he ever comes on this channel, so yeah, I might need to stop fishing with Simon altogether. But yeah, that was absolutely incredible. Shortly after that, my little girl came down, sort of quite later on in the day, just to sort of spend the night with me, which was really nice, because we managed another little one sort of towards the tail end of the night, just before last light really. Got a really nice photograph, and you know, one that will sort of live long in my memory. So yeah, really nice and beautiful moment to share with her as well. So yeah, that was sort of last night I think, and then this morning obviously we've caught another one, another sort of stocky, I'd probably say about 10-11 pound, and my little girl was here again to see that one, so I got a photograph where it was all on hand, but she managed to hold it for it like herself as well, and it was, yeah, for me obviously it was just beautiful, and hopefully if that gives her a buzz, then you know, it'd be incredible. I'm not going to force her into fishing or anything like that, but the fact that, you know, she's not stuck inside and she's, you know, able to do that, it was just lovely. So what I'll do for the rest of today, like I said, we've not got a work day today with Aqua, so what we're going to do is we're going to solely focus on the Northern Carp Diaries, and then what I'll do before I get the rods out tonight is I'll talk through the rigs, because like I said, I know that people want to see that. I'll also get Simon involved and I'll show you his, because he just seems to catch and he's absolutely smashing it up again. So yeah, Simon will probably talk you through his rigs, because he's catching more than I am. And yeah, basically we will talk through all things riggy, get the rods out for tonight, and we'll probably catch you up later on, because I'd like to talk about this particular venue as a whole complex really. Because like I said, if you've never heard of Clearwater before, it's probably the most known about, I think is that the right word, probably the most, you know, probably the most famous northern day ticket complex. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll talk about so what I'll do is I'll obviously catch up with you guys later on, and we'll talk about Clearwater itself.
Well, good morning, and what a morning it's been. Absolute carnage throughout the night. Rods everywhere, kit everywhere, fish on the bank. This is fish number 5. I've been fortunate, I've had them up to 33 pounds, and got the rods back on the money this morning, and within less than 5 minutes ripped off with this little dart thing. Beautiful.
I just thought I'd spend sort of 5-10 minutes like I usually do on the videos and just run through sort of some of the key elements of the venue that we're actually fishing for this particular weekend. So obviously, as you know by the video title, we're actually fishing Clearwater Fisheries, and for those of you that haven't heard of Clearwater before, it's probably the most northern venue that we've actually ever fished. In fact, I think it is the most northern venue we've ever fished. So there's a number of different lakes on this particular complex that are suiting all of angling abilities and the requirements of the angling that you may be into. So there's obviously one of the bigger waters here, which is the syndicate water. So if you're into your syndicate fishing, obviously you maybe look at getting a ticket on there. If you're a match angler, there's a match angler on site. There's a smaller, sort of more exclusive booking style venue, and you've got 2 day tickets as well. So it covers a multitude of different fishing if that's sort of what you're into. And like I said, it suits for everybody. And personally, you know, after walking around, I think they've got the balance right as well. So because it's a fairly new venue, in terms of probably 6 or 7 years old now, so it's not like an old estate lake, so it's really mature yet. So like I said, 6 years, it's still really new. So I fished this venue back in the winter months, and obviously, you know, coming back in the summer months, the difference, I have to say, is just massive. And I'm not just saying that, it really is. All the trees have obviously grown massively, and yeah, it just looks a completely different venue. So despite it only being 6 years old, like I said, the balance for me at the moment, they've got it right. So like I said, it depends on obviously what you're into, but for me, all of the lakes have just kind of left to be overgrown and to be as natural as possible, yet they've also got the real nice comforting things. So like you've got all gravel paths all the way around the venue, you've got car parks at real nice strategic locations, so you're not always too far from your swims. And like I said, it's just little details where the grass is cut where you need it to be. And obviously, more importantly as well, it's just like the lakes are actually kept natural, so you have that balance of both comfort on the bank but also where you're feeling like it's quite natural. And I think even though it's only been open 6 years, another 10 years from now and this will be definitely one of the most premium waters in the north, in my opinion. Obviously as well, the most biggest thing that I've noticed about fishing Clearwater on the 2 times I've been here, the bailiffs are absolutely incredibly helpful. They're always sort of whizzing around on the quad bike doing work, doing little bits, but they're always sort of on hand and really keen to help you out as well. As soon as me and Simon arrived, they come straight over, we sort of said hello, they put us onto a few spots, give us some real nice information, and it's not just that it's us, they've done it to other people as well, we've seen them give them time. So yeah, just want to say a big sort of shout out as well to anyone who wants to come to Clearwater. The bailiffs are more than approachable and really helpful as well. In terms of the facilities that's on Clearwater, there's not a huge amount in terms of the whole of like individual lakes, but there's like, as you arrive onto the complex, it's an electric gate. So obviously, I think that locks at 7 o'clock as well, so that's just something to note that come 7 PM, if you want your takeaways or being dropped off, you can't get in or out. But obviously when you get through the electric gates, you've got a real nice car park there, you've got a reception to your right, which houses a small tackle shop, which has got your sort of essential items like bait, a couple of bits of pot noodles and things that I saw, so it's nothing sort of too serious, but like I said, if that's something that you're into or you run out of anything on the bank, you've got some basic supplies there. There's also a toilet block as well, which has clean, fresh running water. It's kept clean, like I say, I've been sort of 2 or 3 times just to fill up my water and stuff, and like I said, it's clean, so yeah, I can't really say much more about that. Like I said, there's a nice clean toilet on site, and like I said, the facilities, in touching on again the comfort, the paths are just all kept perfectly clear, you know, no lumps and bumps. It's dead easy for you to get your bar around, and yeah, it's just a really nice place to sort of spend a weekend fishing, to be honest. Swims. Yeah, I need to talk about swims though, don't I? How many swims are there on this lake? 10. 10. Because that's 10, isn't it? That one there, that's 10. Yeah, that's 10 over there. So it's 7, 8, 9, double, 10. 10. So I can't speak specifically for their entire sort of every on the complex, but more tying it into this particular video, me and Simon this weekend we're fishing Kellet Lake, which is one of the day ticket lakes, and there's actually 10 swims. So obviously what I would do as well is just touch a little bit on swims. What I would say, if I'm sort of, you know, being impartial I guess, is the swims are actually quite hard again to get your pegs in. So again, as much as I despise the use of a mallet, I think it's actually quite an essential item if you come into Clearwater, that a mallet is probably what you would need just to get your pegs in. And like I said, once they go through the first top sort of inch, I have found that it's, you know, it's quite sort of firm from there. So yeah, there's no issues with that once the pegs sort of get through that initial sort of hardcore layer. But yeah, perfect. Again, tying it back into Kellet, there's 10 swims, but I think if you're fishing it on a day ticket, I think you're only allowed a maximum of, I think, 7 anglers, I believe. Don't quote me on that, it might be 8. But like I said, there's always room to move as well. So like I said, the lake that we're fishing, Kellet, is quite an elongated lake, and I believe obviously when they first took it over it was a series of 2 lakes, maybe 3, and obviously they've dug them together to get obviously the lake that it is now. So there's a series of bays, you've got a sort of nice bigger bit in the middle, and you've got a real nice sort of reeding, overhanging, marginal sort of on one side as well, and obviously which ties them together. You've got a real nice channel which I think is in front of pegs, which the fish do use to sort of cruise in and out of as well. So like I said, on the whole, just to wrap this up really, I would recommend Clearwater to absolutely anybody in terms of you know, what sort of style of angling that you're into or what you're looking for. It's a venue that I'll certainly be coming back to, and what I'll do is I'll leave the details for the venue, or they're in the description or on the video. But like I say, if there's anything, or if you're planning a session on Clearwater and there's anything that I haven't covered in this video, just feel free, like I said, either, you know, hit myself up, hit Matty up on Instagram, or hit Northern Carp Diaries, anything like that. We're more than approachable, and just ask away. I'm no expert on the venue, but like I said, I've been here a few times and I live fairly local, so if there's anything at all that, you know, I've not covered in that sort of last 5 minutes, just get in touch and I'll sort of, hopefully I can ask any questions. But again, as we'll go back to the bailiffs, they're more than helpful, so don't forget to give them a bell as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What I'll probably do is I will go back to my swim now, and I will probably get the rods ready and get them back out on the dance floor for tonight. And then once I've done that, we will have probably to sort of put the world to rights, me and Simon, and hopefully we'll see you with another carp. Right, well that's it, so we're heading into the final evening now, and I've just managed to get all 3 rods sort of on the spot. So what I'm just going to do now is just talk a little bit more in depth about, you know, the 3 rods themselves, and obviously where I've just chucked them out. So yeah, basically no particular order, I'll start with the left and work my way right. So my left rod is fishing to sort of the bigger opening that you would imagine sort of on the bank in front of me. It's probably just a little over 17 wraps, so it's like 17 and a couple of feet. The reason why I'm fishing there is because, like I said, I've obviously spoke about earlier in the video, is that the white markers that are there, the bailiffs fish that spot. And obviously myself and Simon on the first day, we walked round, and like I said, there's a big sort of, I'd say it's a, you know, a bivvy ground sheet, it's easy to say that, a gravel spot. It was just lighting up on the first day, the sun was highest in the sky, and because the water's quite clear as well, it was just glowing up. So yeah, it's an obvious feeding spot, because like I said, as we put some bait in, you know, over the course of the sort of 2-3 days that we've been here, the fish have cleared me out on every single occasion, and I've caught from there as well. So like I said, obviously going on as well this morning, we both went round again just to sort of top up the spots, and yet again there's still 3 or 4 fish just milling around looking for the food. So like I said, that's an obvious one, and I've fished as tight as I dare really, because there's a bit of an overhang on that one. So like I said, I'm fishing as tight as I dare get in there, and like I said, hopefully that'll produce a fish as well. So the middle rod, to be honest, if I'm being truthful, it's probably the most difficult to cast there, and that's just because of the overhang that's from the surrounding trees. It's not to say you can't do it, it's just like I said, it's quite, if you go left or right of the spot that I'm trying to get to, you're probably more likely going to end up in the tree. So it's quite a difficult cast, but I've just managed to get it out there, and obviously I felt it donk as well, which is the most important thing, because like I said, at the moment and the time of year, this lake is quite weedy, so finding that spot, that opening is perfect, so I know that that's, you know, I'm confident. The only downside to that one is I've not actually taken a fish or even a bite yet off that particular spot, but I've committed to bait in there today just to see if it'll move on, because again, it's probably only 15 yards away from my left rod, so like I say, if the fish are cruising up and down that margin, I would expect at some point through a night or even through the day that they have to visit that spot. I mean, obviously they haven't done, or it certainly doesn't feel like they have done at the moment, but I would expect that they would. So yeah, finally moving on to the right rod. That's just at the other side of the bush to my middle rod conveniently, and that's because yet again on the first day as we arrived there was fish just coming in and they were moving over that spot, and like I said, the sort of gravel area there wasn't as big, but it was glowing when we arrived, and like I said, I've taken a bite from there. That's one that I landed that really nice scaly one with the real withered fins. So that bush as well, like I said, it's a smaller gravel patch, it's not as big as the other two and it's not as prominent, but obviously I think that's, you know, a commanding feature, because all of my other fish have come from that spot, and I lost one on that spot as well yesterday, which I think we've even got some footage of, to be fair, but obviously unfortunately we didn't manage to land it. There he is, look, on top. Sorry, fish is going into
Yeah, play it with your tip down at the water, mate. You kinda, if you can, turn it, mate, but don't lose it. Just do what you need to do.
Still recording that. I'll just go in. Is it underneath or? Oh, it's wet. Gutted. Lost it, mate. That felt like a better one, that as well. Obviously, I'm still really confident that with what I've done tonight, you know, the rig's going back out on the money. I'm really happy that, you know, I'm confident that I've done everything in my angling ability that will help us get a bite. In terms of rigs and things, you know, you've seen me go through the rigs that I went through at Redmill on the previous video, and that's everything that I'm using again this session, because as I've always mentioned on rigs, people get too preoccupied about thinking about what's a new in rig, what's this rig. If you find a rig that works for you, and this is generally my advice, if you find a rig and it catches your fish, then it'll catch your fish anywhere. Obviously there's different rigs for different situations, and obviously I do condone that. But like I say, if you find a gravel spot, obviously any rig will work. But for me personally, I like to use that slip D combi rig. I've got that on 2 rods, and obviously I have just put sorry, the last one again. What else am I using? Snowman. Well, that's on my slip D combi in it. I'll start out again. So for me, that basically means that I'm using my ever faithful slip D combi rig, and on a hook bait option for that as well, because it's on a hook ring swivel, is I actually use a Snowman setup, and that's because personally I think that's like a bit of a tactic that's sort of years gone by, and I don't think that many people do that anymore. It's all sort of 14-16mm bright coloured pop-ups and things. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of just being a little bit different. I'm not saying totally different, but just something that might get the fish obviously a bit interested. And again, you know, in my opinion, because I've had most of my fish from that spot, and that's the rig that's been doing the business, again, it just shows that you can be a little bit different and the fish do that. And also as well, tying this in with Simon, obviously I don't know how many people fish solid bags in this particular lake, but the fact that he's turned up, he's put a solid bag, you know, 17 wraps over into, you know, in front of the reeds, and it's quite a tight spot. I think because not a lot of people will do that, it just shows that something a little bit different, a little presentation to get them something to worry about, I think you'll catch more fish. So yeah, obviously that's my advice on rigs. I'm yet to follow suit Simon in a solid bag, which if I'm being truthful, I think I may have caught another fish or two if I'd have put a solid bag on, because like I said, after looking at the feeding response of those fish, it probably would have been prudent of me to put a solid bag on. But I'm not the most accurate caster, to be perfectly honest, and I think that's where a lot of people fail, as probably have I, in that because Simon has put a solid bag on and caught, and I'm sort of, just in case I get the cast a bit wrong, I'm going obviously with more option with like a lead clip. So yeah, obviously that's probably my downfall, but I have caught fish, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And like I said, at the end, in everyone's angling, you should always learn on every session, and like I said, for me, fishing with people like Simon and with Matty, I learn every single session. So yeah, just to wrap that up, because like I said, what we're going to do is we're probably going to put the kettle on, have a brew, probably get some tea down us as well, and we'll go in, well, we're both going into the night extremely confident. So yeah, hopefully we will see you through the night, or sort of earlier than that if possible. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you through the night. If not, we will catch up with you again in the morning.
So a little update for you guys, we're into our third night down at Clearwater Fisheries, fishing on Kellet Lake. Jack and I have been, in fact, cut. Yeah, I stumbled a little bit. Kellet Lake. Are we still rolling, mate? Are we? So just a quick update for you guys, we're into our third night now. Oh, he's thrown me, hasn't he? So a little update for you guys, we've got the third night approaching. We're at 5 o'clock this evening, you know, hopefully bite time is imminent. Yes, we've had a really good session. Jack and I, between us, we've had 10 fish. Biggest 33.7, I believe it's a fish called Taylor's, and it's one of the most sought after fish in the venue, is what I've been told by the bailiff, so I'm quite chuffed with that one. We had a mid-20 and the rest have been mid-doubles, but really dark, scaly fish, beautiful fish. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here, to be honest, because last time I was down it was the middle of winter, it was cold, it was wet, it was bleak, and then this session I've turned up and the venue looks amazing, it looks beautiful. Going back to my fishing really, so when I turned up, I'm in swim 4 in fact. I turned up and it's about 60-70 yards to the far margin, so I had a walk around the lake, Polaroids on, took my marker float, had I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes with a marker float, and it was very obvious as to where the gravel was. There's a big dense weed bed, 2 or 3 rods off the bank, and then it's clean gravel up to the bank. So I put the marker up, came back into the swim, cast the lead across, clipped it up. I'm fishing at between 16 and 17 wraps on the clean gravel, just in fact past the weed onto the clean gravel. And a lot of the lads that know me know that I like to fish a solid bag, and to be fair, all my fish this week have come on solid bags. I've changed the hook baits, changed the colours, and I'll be honest, my unfavoured bait has done most of the fish this session. So that said about the hook baits, believe it or not, well, no surprise to me to be honest, but the big fish, the 33, that did come out on my go-to hook bait. It's one that I've been using for at least 4 or 5 years now, and it's done the majority of my fish. I'd say at least 95% of my fish over recent times, so I was confident on that. So catching them on this other bait, it's kind of thrown a spanner in the works, but tonight it's time to start looking at getting the rods out. So there'll be 3 bags going out, couple on the new bait, and then one on the banker, and then let's see what happens during the night and by morning. Fingers crossed we've got one in the net for you.
You can see the aqua mug if I hold it like that. Is that 2-staged? Well, good morning. So despite me and Simon going into last night feeling really confident, if I'm being honest, I probably would have put my mortgage on sort of catching a fish at least between us last night. But yeah, obviously nothing's happened. I mean, tell a lie, something did happen where basically what happened, I don't know, probably about 1-2 o'clock in the morning. I got a real savage drop back on my left hand rod, which was cast obviously into the rat run where the white post is, which is the bigger opening. It took me a few attempts to get it out there, but obviously knowing that by the time I got it out there, it was just absolutely perfect. Simon kind of went round as well and just topped up a little bit of bait for me, sort of working as a team. Didn't feel like a huge fish, but that's what I keep telling myself anyway, because actually what happened was I got it sort of 30-40 yards in front of me, probably about halfway across. It's probably not even that far actually, and unfortunately I've suffered a hook pull, so unfortunately it's one of them things in fishing that do happen. And like I said, I'm sat here now, sort of consolidating myself, telling myself that it wasn't a big fish. Like I said, we've had a rechuck this morning, all gone back on the spots, and hopefully we've probably got a few hours now where we might be able to sort of land a fish for the cameras, and it'll be an incredible sign off if we can get another carp on the mat. So yeah, that's pretty much it for last night and this morning. Obviously what I'll probably do now is we'll go and head over to Simon's swim. We'll have a catch up with Simon and see how he's been getting on through the night, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
Good morning. So we're on the final morning of the session now. Just basically in the process of packing down, getting all the kit away. Still got the rods out. I think there's a chance of a last morning bite. I am just sitting it out in the hope of catching one more before the end of the session. I think Jack and I, between us, we've probably, we've done a dozen fish maybe. We've had a decent session. Maybe I'm just getting a bit greedy wanting one more, but yeah, quite a nice little story to tell you, in fact. So while we've been here, one of the lads that's booked on in swim one, he's only 12 years old, young lad called Alfie. And while we were doing the product photo shoot, we've been doing the Northern Carp Diaries filming, he's been dead interested. He's been coming over, having a chat, and for me, I absolutely love that. Someone so young that's passionate about angling. I've been there, I've done it, and I was, back in the day, 20 odd years ago, well, 30 odd years ago, I was a bit shy, a bit scared, when I was out on the bank fishing, and I'd never ask anyone any questions. I'd just do my own thing, and it probably hindered my angling to a certain degree. And having this young lad come in the swim, and you could tell he was so passionate about it. He wanted some help, some information. And you know what? I thought, back in the day, I would have loved the opportunity for somebody to say, listen, let me help you out, let me do what I can for you, let's try and put a fish on the bank. I think it was the fact he came in the swim and he was like, he looked sad, he looked gutted, he was like, I just want to catch a fish before I go home. And I know that feeling. I've been there, we've all been there, we've all felt like that at times. Yeah, so this young lad, he came into the swim, and he was actually on his way round the lake with a lead set up. He wanted to go round to the far margin and find some clear spots, because that's what I've been telling him that we've been doing, and the lake is really weedy. And you know what? He didn't really seem to know the best way around it, the best way to find the clear spots. So I thought, if it was me, I would have wanted some assistance, but I wouldn't have asked for it. And I thought maybe that's how he's feeling. So I wound my rods in, grabbed the marker. So we had a mooch around the lake, and we got to the bank where he's fishing. And I spent quite a long time flicking the marker out, talking him through what I would have done if it was me. Finding the back of the weed bed, dragging it onto the gravel, popping the marker up. And you could just tell he was taking it all on board. He wanted to get involved. So I gave him the marker float, and he did exactly as I told him. Cast into the weed, dragged it back, bop 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 onto the gravel, pop the marker up. That's it. That's your spot. So we left the marker popped up, went round into his swim, and to be fair, Jack had sorted him out a rig. I'd given him some hook baits, some PVA. I'd given him some bait to put in. So we went round, and to be fair to young Alfie, he flicked the lead out, first time, bang, on the marker, cracked down, and you could just see in his face, he was like, wow, I've managed to do it. And he was buzzing. So anyway, wound it in, clipped up, wound it in, put the rig on, put the mesh bag up, set it up. In fact, threaded tubing on, just set it up exactly how I would. And just the fact, he lifted the rod up, and he looked at the rig, and he was like, wow, it looks like something I've seen on TV in the magazines. And that, it just, it gives you a great feeling that you're helping somebody out that's learning. So yeah, rig on, mesh on, foam on, and to be fair to him, you could see he was a little bit nervous. He was saying, oh, I don't want to mess it up, I don't want to mess it up. First cast, bang, hit the clip, on the money. And I said to him, Alfie, that is a fish. I said, just don't touch it, sit on your hands, leave it until you get a fish. It will happen. So anyway, that was that. I came back into my swim and I actually had a chat with Jack and I'm like, mate, do you know what? I'm not even bothered if I don't catch tonight. I want young Alfie to have a fish. Got the rods out this morning and his dad walked into the swim. His dad being fairly new to carp fishing as well. He's a match angler, so he's kind of getting to grips with the whole carp fishing and fishing in weed. And he walks into the swim, big grin on his face, and I was secretly hoping he was going to tell me Alfie had caught a fish. Came in and he's got his phone out and he's like, Si, Alfie's absolutely buzzing. He managed to catch a 27-pound half-limb mirror, and I was like, tell me it was on the spot that we created between us. He's like, yeah mate, and honestly the satisfaction from that, I was over the moon. I loved it. And I'm yet to see Alfie. He's still in his bivvy. I think he's like, full of excitement, full of adrenaline, tired, wet, worn out, end of his session as well. So I'm going to go around in a few minutes. I'm going to have a chat with him and see exactly how he's feeling. But it's made the session for me. Morning Alfie, your dad tells me you've had a right fish.
Yeah, I had the boss fish either in the middle last night.
No way.
What's it called? I was asleep in my sleeping bag and that, and my alarm was screaming off and I didn't hear it because I was asleep.
Oh really?
And my dad had to wake me up.
Oh, that's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I was playing it for a bit. It was dragging me all around the lake.
Wow.
And then, what's it called? It took me in a wee bed, didn't it? And my dad had to get in with the waders because it was dark in the night.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so when he got it out, I was playing it more, and I netted it, and I looked at it, and I seen it was a massive fish, and I was like, oh my god, there's just beating me.
So what was your PB before last night?
16 pounds.
And how big was the fish last night?
25 pounds.
Yes, mega fish. Where did you catch it from?
On the spot where you put it on.
Oh, what a result, mate.
No, nice one.
Nice one, mate.
And I'm buzzing that quarter there.
Yeah. And do you reckon you'll be coming back?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I said to my dad I'm going to come here for a week on my birthday.
Oh, that'd be ace, mate.
And what's going to be coming back here next weekend as well. Going to try and get a fish. We're going to try and get that Popeye.
That's it.
Yeah, going to try and get a bit of fish like. Yeah, I'm buzzing with my new PB.
Good lad.
Yeah, and my granddad's had a couple of fish as well. He had a 6. What did it know? He had a 21 and a 19.
Okay. Yeah, so you've done well, mate. You've had a good session.
Yeah, my dad's blanking so far. He hasn't had nothing of his own in a couple of hours.
That's fishing for you, isn't it? But it makes you want to come back and, try and catch another one next time, mate. But great session, and I'm glad I could help you, mate.
I know.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers, Alfie, mate. So literally on the verge of reeling the rods in, and screamer, the right hand has just ripped off. And to be fair, I don't know whether it's weeded me, but it feels like an alright fish. Just literally all the kit's packed down, rods are still out, and it's melted off. So happy days, great finish to the session. Hopefully I can get it in the net. Come on, mate. Get him in, mate. Yes. Well, what a fish to finish on. Probably, I guess, the last fish of the session. And what better way to finish it? This lovely dark scaly 2712 mirror down here at Clearwater Fisheries, fishing on Kellet Lake. It's been an amazing session. We've had 12, 13 fish, lost count. That's Jack and I between us, and this place is absolutely stacked full of fish of this calibre, and will definitely be coming back in the future. So we're at the end of a 3-night session. You know, I've got one rod out, most of the kit's all packed away on the barra. Like any session, we don't want to reel that last rod in, do we? You know what it's like. But no, it's been amazing. 12, 13, 14, 15 fish between us, don't know, lost count. A couple of big 20s, 30, and you know, like it's been worth the effort. It's been hard graft, like, but we'll definitely be back to do it again sometime. Shit.
Look at this carnage, guys.
Oh.
No, it hasn't.
Oh,
You're joking. Right, well, that's it for me. And although last night or this morning sort of nothing materialised for me, Simon's had a real nice flutter towards the end and he's managed to catch another one as well for the cameras. So I just want to say, just to wrap up this video, to be honest, I hope you really enjoyed the sort of part 1 and part 2 of our road trip, and more importantly, I hope you've enjoyed this video as well. Obviously, if you want to see more sort of content like this, just press that like button. It'd be a massive help to help sort of, you know, me and the Northern Carp Diaries guys just sort of, you know, grow the channel. Obviously subscribe, that'd be a massive help. And obviously write any comments or anything like that in the video. You know, we can only get better from your feedback. I say it every video, but it is the truth. So hopefully, like I said, we are listening. Like I said, we're doing the rig stuff and things like that. So like I said, hopefully we can keep improving. And obviously, more importantly, if you do like this style of content, then if you just press that the bell icon as well, what that'll mean is you'll get like an email or a notification every time we upload a video like this one. So this is going to be the last video probably for a couple of months, because sort of as we film this in the sort of 4 or 5 weeks coming up to this, I'm due to get married, so obviously fishing and things like that I'm going to have to put on the back burner for a little bit. So yeah, hopefully, like I said, you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you probably at the Syndicate Diaries for the next one.
between the two of us, we've managed to land 10 fish. Biggest.
Sorry mate, go on. I'll fit.
The thing is, I'll end up just waffling and chatting shit. Good to go? Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 So what did I say then?
So if I sit like that, do I look alright there? Can I zoom out? Yeah, zoom out a bit. Because what I'll also do, I'll also put them black bars at the top and bottom. I mean, I can move further back if it. Is that alright? I think I'm recording as well. So can you hear me alright there? Yeah, sweet. I'm already recording, yeah mate. Does it say recording on the screen? Bottom left usually, or top left. Yeah.